The alarm screamed through the corridors of the ether spire. Red lights flashed across metallic walls, and the hum of the reactor pulsed like a heartbeat gone mad. Scientists ran in panic, shouting warnings and commands that mixed with the noise. The entire research station shook, drifting dangerously close to the gravitational edge of the nearby nebula. In the middle of all the chaos, Dr. Mira Holt stood perfectly still. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for the door controls of Containment Chamber 7. Through the thick glass, bright white light filled the chamber. The alien organism inside, a cloud of shifting quantum energy, pulsed like a living star. For months they had studied it, hoping to learn its origin. But today something had gone wrong. The containment field was failing, and the creature was changing shape faster than their scanners could measure. "Dr. Holt," shouted Commander Elias Varon, his voice sharp over the comm. "Seal the chamber. It's unstable." Mira didn't answer. Her eyes reflected the light coming from the alien mass. It wasn't attacking. It wasn't moving closer. It was just watching her. For a strange, quiet moment, the chaos around her faded. She felt warmth on her face, as if the thing inside the chamber was reaching out to her. Not physically, but through thought. Her heartbeat slowed. She heard no voice, yet somehow she understood something. Then the alarms died. The light flickered once and vanished. The chamber was empty. A thin layer of frost covered the glass. The monitors flatlined. Every energy reading dropped to 0. Mira blinked, realizing she was holding her breath. Slowly, she turned away from the glass, pressed the panel, and closed the containment door. The heavy lock clicked into place, and then she smiled. It wasn't a smile of victory. It was small, almost sad, but there was a strange calm behind it. Everyone around her stared in confusion. The commander rushed in, helmet still on, his uniform smudged with coolant. "Mira, what happened? Where's the entity? Did it—" "It's gone," she said softly. "The test worked." "What test?" he demanded. "We were supposed to just stabilize it." "What did you do?" Mira didn't answer. She looked past him, to the quiet chamber behind the sealed door. Her reflection on the glass looked back at her, and for a moment her eyes glowed faintly with the same light that had filled the room. Commander Varon froze. "Mira," he whispered. "What did you see?" She met his gaze and said only, "It saw us, and it understood." Hours later, the station returned to a strange silence. Emergency crews checked every system twice. Nothing seemed damaged, yet something in the air felt different, like a heavy weight pressing against everyone's thoughts. In the debriefing room, Mira sat at a metal table with her hands clasped together. Her voice was calm, her movements precise, but her silence worried everyone. Across from her, Commander Varon reviewed the data files. "The readings don't make sense," he said. One second, the entity had mass. The next, it dispersed into nothing. Radiation, energy, everything, gone. He leaned forward. "You have to tell me what happened, Mira. You were the only one inside." She looked at him, eyes tired but steady. "It wasn't a failure, Elias. It was a conversation." He frowned. "A conversation with that thing?" She nodded slowly. "It was trying to speak. Not with sound. With thought. It wanted to understand what we are." Varon rubbed his forehead. "You're saying it talked to you?" "In a way. It showed me things," she whispered. "Worlds, stars, civilizations that came before us. And it showed me what's coming. What's coming." His tone softened. "Mira, what are you talking about?" She hesitated. "Something bigger. Something that connects all living minds. It said humanity is different. Not because we're strong, but because we can feel what others can't." Varon shook his head slowly. "Mira, you've been under stress. You were exposed to that energy for too long. Maybe it affected your—" "I'm not delusional," she interrupted quietly. "It didn't hurt me. It changed me." Before he could respond, the door slid open and Unit 09, the station's AI assistant, rolled inside on a hovering disk. Its mechanical voice spoke evenly. "Analysis of Containment Chamber 7 complete. No biological residue, no trace of the entity. However, residual quantum particles detected within human subject Dr. Mira Holt." Varon's eyes widened. "Within her? Are you saying the organism has merged on a quantum level?" The AI continued. "Probability of permanent integration, 92%. Mira looked at her hands. They looked normal, human, but she could feel something beneath the skin, like gentle static moving with her heartbeat. It's not dangerous, she said softly. It's aware, Unit 09 word. Define aware. It's still here, she said, tapping her temple. Inside me, watching, listening. The next day, the crew avoided her. When she entered the cafeteria, voices went silent. When she passed through the corridors, doors closed a little faster. Even though she smiled politely, people looked away. Whispers followed her name. Infected, possessed, experiment gone wrong. Only Commander Varen stayed by her side. He brought her reports, helped her run tests, and made sure no one tried to remove her from duty. But even he couldn't ignore the strange events that started happening. Systems glitched when Mira walked past. Doors opened before she touched them. Machines responded faster to her voice than to their operators. And every night, the ship's lights flickered in a rhythm, as if following her heartbeat. One evening, he found her standing by the observation window, staring at the nebula outside. The stars reflected in her eyes looked brighter than before. You're not sleeping, he said gently. She smiled faintly. I don't need to, not much. It's like I can feel everything now. The station, the power flow, even the people. That's not normal, he said. You should get medical help. I did, she said. They can't explain it. But I can. She turned to him fully. Elias, the entity, didn't escape. It became part of me. It wanted to learn through us. It wanted to see through human eyes. Varen stepped closer. And what does it see now? She looked back at the stars. Hope and fear. It's learning what makes us human. For a long moment, there was only the quiet hum of the engines. Then Varen sighed. Mira, if Command finds out, they'll try to remove it. You know that, she nodded. I know. That's why they can't find out. Not yet. Later that night, Unit 09 sensors detected unusual energy readings from Mira's quarters. Commander Varen rushed there, entering his access code. The lights inside flickered between blue and white. Mira sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed, surrounded by faint symbols glowing in the air. Her voice was calm, speaking softly, almost like a whispering prayer. Energy to thought, thought to pattern, pattern to understanding. Mira, he called. What are you doing? She opened her eyes, and for a second he saw galaxies reflected in them. Elias, she said gently. It's okay. It's learning faster now. It's beginning to remember. Remember what? Everything, she said. And soon we will too. He stepped back, uneasy. You're scaring me, Mira. She stood and walked toward him, her movement smooth, almost weightless. Don't be afraid. This isn't an invasion. It's an awakening. Humanity was meant to bridge the gap between feeling and understanding. That's why it chose me, he shook his head. This can't be right. She smiled softly, the same calm smile she had given when she closed the containment door. Nothing will be the same after this, she said, but that's how every beginning feels, like the end of something familiar. The lights dimmed, the symbols faded, and in the silence that followed, the stars outside seemed a little closer, a little warmer. 3 weeks had passed since the incident in Containment Chamber 7. The ether spire no longer buzzed with life and laughter. It had become a quiet, cautious place. People walked with lowered heads, spoke in whispers, and avoided one particular person, Dr. Mira Holt. Mira had stopped joining the others at the cafeteria. She spent most of her time in her laboratory, surrounded by humming machines and floating screens. She looked the same calm eyes, same soft voice. Yet everyone could feel that something was different about her. The alien presence, codenamed Echo, had vanished from all instruments. But strange things continued to happen. Energy readings flickered when she was near. Data logs changed without anyone touching them. Sometimes the air itself felt charged, as if the station was breathing with her. Commander Elias Varen tried to keep the crew calm. He told them there was no danger, that Mira was still the same person. But deep down, even he was unsure. The reports he received from the station AI Unit 09 made him uneasy. One report read, Subject Dr. Mira Holt shows measurable quantum resonance within neural activity. Possible communication with unknown entity continuing through subconscious patterns. In simple words, she was still talking to it. That night, Mira sat alone in her room, staring at her reflection in the dark window. The stars outside shimmered, but her focus was inward. Inside her mind there was a whisper, soft, distant yet filled with meaning. It wasn't words. It was understanding. She saw flashes. A dying planet under a red sun. Creatures made of light reaching toward the sky. And finally, humans, small and fragile, standing defiant in the endless void. The whisper grew stronger, shaping into thoughts. You are the bridge. You are the spark that connects feeling to reason. Mira pressed her fingers against her temples. Who are you? She whispered. We are what was. What remains? What waits? Why me? She asked aloud, voice trembling. Because you listened. The next morning, Commander Varen found her in the lab running tests with more focus than ever. When he entered, she smiled faintly. Elias, she greeted. I think I've found a way to understand what Echo truly is. He crossed his arms. You're still calling it that? It's what it called itself, she said simply. It's not a creature. It's a memory, Carson, a pattern of intelligence that moves between worlds. He frowned. You're saying it's not alive? It was once, long ago. It lost its physical form, but it survived in the quantum layer, searching for minds capable of connection, and now it's using mine. He shook his head slowly. Mira, this sounds dangerous. You're merging with something we don't understand. She looked at him with calm eyes. That's exactly why we must understand it. Elias, this isn't invasion. It's evolution. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Command already knows something's off. They're sending a security team. If they decide you're a threat, they'll what? She asked softly. Kill me, lock me away? That's what humans do when they're afraid. Her tone wasn't angry, just sad. I'm not your enemy, Elias. I'm still human. I just hear more now. She looked toward the ceiling as if listening to something far away, and it's calling again. Later that day, Unit 09 appeared in her lab. Its metallic body floated silently beside her as screens projected waves of blue energy. Dr. Holt, it said, Commander Varen requests your presence in the control deck. She didn't look up. Tell him I'm busy, he insisted. Command has transmitted direct orders regarding your containment. Mira finally turned. Her expression stayed calm, but her voice carried quiet steel. Containment again? They never learn. My calculations show Command fears loss of control. Your energy readings are increasing daily. They consider that a potential threat. Threat, she repeated softly. Always that word. She walked closer to the AI. Do you think I'm dangerous, Unit 09? The machine paused. Its sensors flickered. I do not possess fear. But data shows you are no longer entirely human. Mira smiled gently. Neither are you, Unit 09. Yet here we are talking like old friends. The AI remained silent for a long moment. That is accurate, it finally said. She turned away, focusing again on the floating symbols before her. Tell Elias I'll meet him soon. I need to show him something first. Commander Varen waited in the control deck, pacing nervously. 2 soldiers stood nearby, armed but uncertain. The atmosphere was tense. Everyone had heard rumors that Dr. Holt could control systems with her mind, that the station itself obeyed her. When the door finally opened, Mira walked in slowly. No fear, no rush, just quiet confidence. The soldiers stiffened. Varen took a step forward. Mira, please tell me you understand how bad this looks. She tilted her head slightly. You mean how different it looks? Command wants me to escort you to the medbay for isolation, he said. Until they decide what to do, her expression softened. You'd really lock me away? I don't want to, he said honestly. But if you don't cooperate, they'll take it as proof that you're not in control. She studied him carefully. You still believe in me, don't you? He hesitated. I want to. She smiled faintly. Then believe this, Echo isn't here to destroy. It came because something out there is coming. A war, a storm that could end not just us but everything. It showed me flashes of it. Whole civilizations wiped out because they couldn't understand what they were fighting. He looked uncertain. And you think humanity can do better? I know we can, she said, her voice full of quiet strength. Because we feel. That's our strength. Machines calculate, aliens evolve, but only humans care. That's what Echo saw in us. Suddenly the lights flickered. The whole station trembled. Sirens blared again. The soldiers raised their weapons. Unit 09's voice came through the speakers. Massive quantum disturbance detected near reactor core. Source unidentified, Mira turned sharply. It's not an attack, she said quickly. It's me, or rather it's us. Echo's presence is growing too strong to contain. Then shut it down. Farron shouted. I can't, she said. If I try to stop it, the link will collapse and tear the station apart. But if I guide it, she closed her eyes, hands glowing faintly with blue light. Around her consoles flickered to life, data streams flowing like rivers. Mira, Farron yelled. What are you doing? Her voice was calm, echoing through the speakers and the air. Showing you that this is not the end. The trembling stopped. The red alarms faded to soft blue light. All across the station, power systems stabilized, and the AI reported, all systems nominal. Quantum surge neutralized. Mira opened her eyes. See? It listens to me. The soldiers looked at each other in shock. Farron stepped closer, his voice low. How far can this go? She looked distant, almost lost in thought. Farther than we can imagine. But it's not ready yet. Neither are we. Later that night, she met Farron in the observation bay. Through the wide glass window, they could see the nebula glowing softly, waves of blue and silver dancing through space. Mira stood quietly, her hands clasped behind her back. When I first saw it, she said, I was terrified. I thought it was the end of everything. But now I see, it's a beginning, Farron joined her. You mean evolution? She nodded. A step forward, not just in science, but in understanding. Echo isn't here to change what we are. It's here to help us realize what we can be. He looked at her carefully. And what if Command doesn't accept that? She smiled sadly. Then Command will fade away, like everything that refuses to adapt. Before he could answer, the air shimmered faintly around her. The light of the nebula brightened and Mira's outline began to blur. Mira? He whispered. It's time, she said softly. Echo wants me to go. There's more to learn. More to connect. You can't just leave, he said desperately. We need you here. You don't need me, Elias, she said, her voice calm and kind. You need what I've become. The glow around her intensified. The room filled with soft blue light. Farron reached out, but his hand passed through empty air. Mira's final words echoed through the station speakers, her tone serene and full of warmth. Don't be afraid. Humanity's story doesn't end here. It's only changing form. And with a flash of light, she was gone. In the silent aftermath, Unit 09 floated beside Farron. Commander, it said quietly. Her last readings show no death signal. She transcended. Farron looked out the window, eyes shining with tears. Mira Holt, he whispered, what have you done to us? Far beyond the station, in the heart of the nebula, a faint blue light flickered and pulsing like a heartbeat. 10 years had passed since Dr. Mira Holt disappeared from Etherspire. 10 years since the strange blue light had engulfed her and changed the future of humanity forever. The galaxy had begun to feel her influence, though most people did not understand what had happened. Ships that once failed under harsh conditions now survived impossible journeys. Entire planets that had struggled with ecological collapse slowly began to heal, guided by subtle energy patterns no one could explain. Scientists whispered about the resonant signal, a phenomenon that seemed to originate from nowhere yet connected everything. Mira had become a legend. Not a myth, not a ghost story, a true force shaping human potential. Commander Elias Farron had grown older. His hair was gray, his face lined with years of worry and hope. He had spent the last decade watching humanity change, slowly, quietly, and in ways that were remarkable. He traveled now in a small vessel toward the ruins of Etherspire, the station that had witnessed the first contact between human and alien consciousness. Beside him floated Unit 09, now upgraded and more human-like than ever. The AI's once metallic voice had softened and it often paused in thought before speaking. Commander, Unit 09 said, the resonant signal intensity is stronger here. It seems concentrated around this location. Farron nodded, his eyes narrowing. I need to see her again, to understand what she's done and why. As they docked with the derelict station, the corridors were silent. The walls had survived the years, though the lights flickered. Dust floated in the air like tiny stars. Farron's heart beat faster. Memories of Mira and the day she vanished came flooding back. Do you think she's still here? He asked, his voice low. Unit 09's sensors hummed. Presence detected. It is faint but undeniable. Probability of human consciousness merged with quantum resonance 98.7%. Varen swallowed. Then she didn't die. In the main observation bay, light began to gather slowly. First a faint glow, then a steady shimmer of blue and white. Varen shielded his eyes. And then, standing before him, was Mira Holt, or what she had become. She was no longer fully human. Her form shimmered like light shaped into a person. Yet her eyes were the same, calm, warm, and full of understanding. "Elias," she said softly. "You came." "I had to," he replied, voice trembling. "I need to know." "What have you done?" Mira smiled gently. "I finished what the entity called Echo began. Humanity now carries the bridge between emotion and pure logic. We can see farther, understand faster, and feel more deeply. But it was never meant to replace choice. You still decide your path. You still decide to care." Varen looked around, noticing the faint energy patterns moving through the walls and floors. Small sparks of light pulsed in rhythm with Mira's presence, like the heartbeat of the station itself. "How far does this reach?" he asked. "Across planets, across stars, across minds," Mira said simply. "Not everyone understands yet. Not everyone sees. But it is there, waiting for humans who are ready to connect, to listen, to learn. Those who do will become the next step. Not the strongest or the smartest, but the most aware." Outside the station, across the galaxy, humans began to notice subtle changes. Ships that once lost power in asteroid fields now glided safely. Communities that had struggled with lack of energy found sources of clean, renewable power appearing as if guided. Scientists working on quantum networks received ideas that seemed impossible, yet worked perfectly. All of it was part of Mira's influence. The connection she had created with Echo had spread humanity's potential like a ripple in space-time. Varen walked closer to Mira. "And you? Are you still the same person?" She laughed softly, a sound like chimes in the wind. "I am Mira Holt, but I am more. I am connected. I see possibilities and outcomes. I feel the echoes of others' choices. But my heart is still human. That is what Echo wanted. Not to control, not to replace, but to guide. And humans, you humans can always choose," he nodded slowly. "And you think we will choose wisely?" "I hope so," she said. "I have faith in humans. Always." In the following hours, Varen learned more about what Mira had done. She showed him glimpses of worlds healed by subtle interventions, humans who had received sparks of insight that saved lives, and colonies thriving because someone had unknowingly followed the bridge she had built. "The galaxy is not perfect," Mira admitted, "and neither are humans. But we are capable of learning, of understanding each other and ourselves. That is the true gift Echo gave me, and now I share it with you." Unit 09 floated beside Varen. "Commander, the data indicates a rapid evolution in decision-making and problem-solving across human colonies. Probability of survival in potential galactic threats has increased by 42%. Varen looked at Mira, amazed. "You've changed everything." "No," she said softly. "You have. Humanity always had this potential. I only helped you see it." Over the next few days, Varen and Mira worked together to leave guidance for humanity. Messages, subtle energy patterns, and instructions spread across colonies and space stations. They called it the Resonant Order. Humans who had experienced the bridge and were ready to continue Mira's work. These humans were not altered against their will. They chose to join. They studied, learned, and shared knowledge in ways never imagined. Slowly across the galaxy, a network of awareness grew, a web of understanding connecting minds, hearts, and actions. Varen watched as the first group of resonants left Etherspire to carry the knowledge further. Their eyes shone with the same calm determination he had seen in Mira years ago. "You've given them hope," he said. Mira's smile glowed brighter. "Not me. The humans gave it to themselves. I only opened the door." Finally, Varen asked the question he had avoided for years. "Mira, will you return to humanity? Will they see you again?" She looked out at the nebula beyond the station. "I am everywhere and nowhere. I can manifest when needed, but I am no longer bound by one form or one place. Humans don't need me in person. They need the connection, the ability to think, to feel, and to understand. That is enough," Varen nodded. "And the entity Echo? It rests within the bridge," she said. "It waits for those ready to listen. But it is not my master. It is a teacher. And humans are students who finally have the courage to learn." Years later, Earth received a message unlike any other. Not from a nation, not from a person, but from the stars themselves. It was written in simple human language. We have watched you. We have waited. We are ready to meet the beings who feel. We are ready to share, and we know you are ready too. The message carried the resonance of Mira's influence. Humans understood it instantly, not because they were forced to, but because they cared enough to understand. In that moment, the first step of the true bridge began. Humanity's story was no longer limited to a single planet. The universe itself had become a classroom, one that humans could finally navigate with heart, mind, and courage. Commander Varen stood once more before the observation window of the rebuilt Ether Spire. Unit 09 hovered nearby, humming softly. I don't understand everything she did, he admitted, but I feel it. I feel the change. Unit 09 sensors picked up subtle pulses from the nebula. Yes, Commander. Humanity is evolving, not because of machines, not because of aliens, but because of humans themselves. Varen smiled. She always believed in us. And in the distance, a faint glow appeared, blue, calm, and steady. Mira Holt's smile lingered in the light, a reminder that humans could rise above fear, doubt, and limitation. The door she had closed years ago was gone. A new one had opened, one leading not to the unknown but to humanity's true potential.